These are all just links that you can bookmark and reference as needed. Next slide. I know we touched on some of the data reporting requirements in a lot of our initial kickoff meetings and in the process of negotiations. But kind of as a reminder, providers in Oregon are required to collect real and SOG data across programs to support community engagement and partnerships. And that is race, ethnicity, language, and disability, and sexual orientation and gender identity data. The statutory requirement. We recognize that not everyone has capacity to collect this information just yet. I think we also recognize that because of the nature of some of the services you offer or clients you serve, it might not be appropriate to ask for all of this information. So we are still working on how we're going to incorporate Realty and SOG compliance with Measure 110 program data. It will be kind of a phased approach. So the expectation is not that you're going to be collecting all of this sophisticated data right from the get-go. We want to make sure that we're being thoughtful and setting you all up for success. So we'll be eventually getting there, but in the beginning, I think we're really going to be focusing on more of the basic demographics of who you serve. Next slide. Have some bi-weekly meetings scheduled. Every other Tuesday and Thursday, we have office hours and technical assistance kind of respectively. Office hours support is just kind of college style, drop in, ask a question, pop a question in the chat style format for any and all questions. We usually take them in the FAQs as well. Well, assistance meetings are every other Thursday, and those will be a little bit more structured, where our staff will provide presentations regarding the program requirement to enable you all grant administrative we might be for on Medicaid, again, kind of on the compliance that you'll have for relevant topics where we can get some of our experts here at OHA in front of you all. I think we are having one more burn kickoff, then we'll hopefully have spoken to everyone in the state. But if you are talking to some of your colleagues in the zeitgeist and they wonder kind of why they haven't been invited, or if there will be another opportunity there with this information. So we're trying to catch folks as they get signed. Next slide. I know there have been a lot of questions on Medicaid, on real property, on the future are continuing to work on all kind of three of those outstanding pieces. Agreements will be changed. Some of the language in there will be changed around real property purchases. I think I've spoken to a lot of you about that. But if you have additional questions, please send them to the Measure 110 inbox or me, and we'll make sure that we get you your answers. Next slide. As I mentioned, we also are interested in what ideas you have for future team meetings or office hours or FAQs. Like I said, if one person has a question, it's probably on other folks' minds. So feel free to also either put your ideas in the chat, or if you want to think about it, send them to the Measure 110 inbox, and we will slide. All right, I think I blazed through that in record time. I know those were a lot of words, a lot of information, but we will send this slide deck out. To use your organization, please feel free to email m110.com. Please don't feel like you're pestering me. I'm here to support you, and I really appreciate how everyone has given all of us here at OJ the grace and the benefit of the doubt when we don't have all the answers. And with that, I think I will stop talking for a moment to see if we have any questions that have come in through the chat. I will note that I think we've had some technical difficulties with some of the live streams, and we're gonna upload some videos later today. Working on our technical difficulties, but if you have questions, just pop them in the chat, and we'll either get you answers or get you answers later. All right, we have a question about where the ongoing FAQ document can be found. Hoping someone can pop that into the chat, since I can't multitask that well and pull up multiple screens. I will say that I think we are working on a provider-specific website, because I know our Measure 110 website is kind of in several different places. Oh, thank you, Sydney. The link is in the chat. And that's kind of on our to-do list, to make sure that we get a central place for all of these documents to live. But in the meantime, there is the FAQs. All right, we have a question about the digital format required for data collection. which is a good question. Seeing if we have anyone from our data team who could maybe get off mute to answer that question. Otherwise, we can follow up. I believe it's going to be a survey of some kind, at least in the beginning. But I want to make sure I didn't make that up. Trying to unmute Emily.
Hi, yeah, this is Emily from OHA Health Analytics. Currently, we are planning to collect that information through a Qualtrics survey. So it would be something that would be emailed to whoever is responsible for that at an organization. And then that would just be a form that you submit online. And we are working on getting a draft of all the content that would be included in that survey finalized and out to you guys as soon as possible, so that you guys won't necessarily have that in the online digital format, but you would have basically like a static document of everything that would need to be completed in that form here pretty soon.
Thanks, Emily. Another question, we are part of a county MOU. Will each of us need our own policy and procedure manual? That is another good question. I think the question is the policy and procedure manual burn specific or provider specific, if I am reading that correctly. And I am just waiting on the answer that I think is getting chatted to me. Each provider will need to submit their own policy and procedure manual, so it will not be burn specific. Similar to your grant agreement, it will be provider specific. Another question, for smaller or newer provider organizations, does OHA have recommendations or suggestions for cloud-based data applications? I wonder if I can ask Emily to unmute to see if she has any feedback, since she's our data guru.
Yeah, this is Emily. I don't know off the top of my head. That might be more of a question for our IT folks, OIS. They might have some better suggestions. So maybe that's something that we can put in FAQs or get back to folks on if more organizations are going to have a similar question to this.
Yeah, I think this could be maybe a good topic for a future TA session about data. Another question, when will we be getting the insurance criteria? All the insurance criteria is listed in the grant agreement. I believe it's in Exhibit C. And there is a list of the criteria and all the different types of insurance y'all need. Well, seeing no other questions coming into the chat, I do not want to keep y'all from your busy Thursdays any longer than I have to. Again, if you do think of questions, because I know that's a lot, and it's perfectly fine to go through the PowerPoint when you receive it and think up more. That's what I would do. Please email the Measure 110 inbox or me, and we will make sure that we get those questions answered. But in the meantime, thank you all for joining us this morning. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. And stay cool and hydrated out there. I know it's supposed to be another hot one.